All right, welcome back to Between Two Biomes, episode six. Six, six,
Is this
six, six.
6 or is
It is
this
six.
because we did that interim episode where we just talked about the PGA show and stuff. Was that 5? This
I
is
think
6
that was
already?
five, and this is six.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
six.
All
I
right.
always think about 66 times. You know, the guy that got struck by lightning in the Great
Yeah.
Outdoors or something like
Integrating.
that.
It's a movie I honestly have not thought about in a long time.
Yeah. Uh,
Hang on
s-
one second. Hang on.
what is he doing?
Okay, I am sorry. My dog walked in and opened up
Uh-oh.
my door, and I needed to get that closed.
Oh, I thought you were going to say your dog walked in and had your beer ready for you.
It was like the beginning of a joke. My dog walks into an office.
So we're like recording the show. I'm not sure if we ever recorded one this early, so it's like almost embarrassing that I'm having a drink now. For me, it's okay because it's almost 3 o'clock where I'm at, but it's a little bit earlier for you.
And so I've decided just to knock out the whole bottle. And it's hard to tell with my background
May
now, but
get
I like the
started. At
bottle's
least it's
empty, but
Friday, right? It is
it is
Friday,
Friday.
so
It is Friday. Yeah.
so it's
Happy,
permitted, I think, to drink a little earlier on a Friday, right?
happy Friday to you, my friend.
Happy Friday to you. How's your week?
What do you drink?
Oh,
The week's
yeah, I guess
good.
we should start with the drinks, right? So I am
We
just
should.
drinking. I didn't want to go with the hard stuff quite yet because my daughter's coming home from college for the weekend. It's her birthday weekend, so we're gonna go out to
Oh,
dinner tonight.
nice.
So I can't be too messy to go out to dinner with the family. So
Fair.
I just have a Trogs Perpetual. For those of you who don't know, I live in Hershey, Pennsylvania, and Trogs is like 2 miles down the road from me. And I always have a keg of it on tap usually. So yep, just a little Trogs IPA.
And I trust you're staying warm. I understand it's something like minus 900 degrees outside your house right now.
It's getting really cold. It started this morning. The wind is picking up, and it's going to
Hmm.
be a good weekend for sim golf. Put it that
Yes,
way.
yes, it will. I think it's very odd because here in Denver, Colorado, where most people would think it would be cold, I think it's going to be 55 degrees today and sunny.
I
So,
think that catches up to us after the weekend. I think next week it warms up in here again. So
perfect.
yeah,
Good for you. Good, good, good.
yeah.
I've got a little bit of I've done this brand in the past on one of our earlier shows. The one I did. Do you remember when we were looking at our own courses in the making? And I think I was doing the mashed build with coffee, with Kona coffee in it. This is a mashed up build.
Oh
It's
yeah,
called
yeah, yeah,
mashed build. Yep.
yeah.
No coffee on this one, but this is a mix of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 different bourbons mashed up. And it's extremely very good. So it's a blend of 7 different straight bourbon whiskeys into one mashed build.
Okay.
Very good.
I used to bartend for my parents when I was younger, and we used to have a drink. It was really nasty. You would wipe the bar
Huh.
down with a rag, and then you would put it into a shot. That kind
Oh,
of.
no, please do no. It's what it sounds like, but it's actually good. Oh, so before we jump in and get started, I was going to ask you how's your Chasing Scratch listening
It's
going?
good.
Are you
Yeah, it is. It is going good. I do like the show. Yeah, I'm having a good time with it. I actually have a couple of the guys that I do my sim golf with. They're all
uh,
starting to listen to it too, so we're all
okay?
kind of getting into it. But yeah, so you're much farther along though, I think, than I am. I'm
Yeah,
not
I'm
even
in
through the first
season
season.
2.
Yeah.
I finished season 1. I'm in season 2 right now, but I was thinking about this the other day. I was thinking about those guys and us the other day. And I've decided, because I just unilaterally decide things, right? I've decided that how they have a producer, Lenny. We need a
Yes.
producer.
Oh,
Because I
jeez.
want to be able to
We
just
don't have
say
that
like
budget yet.
Lenny cue up so like for example, like in the last episode, I think it was last episode, I had mentioned that GSPro, it was a new feature for GSPro that they need to add in designers being able to choose what percentage of balls in the deep rough are lost,
Yeah,
right? And I
you're right,
think
right.
then you added about a timer to click. the feedback in the comments was so overwhelmingly negative for that feature request that I think we need to add it as a regular in Stillman. Maybe not every episode, but we need to. So I want to be able to say, like, we need Steve as our producer and say, Steve, cue GSPro feature request music, and then it comes up. And I'm going to put in another GSPro feature request that I'd like to see. Okay, you ready for this one?
All right, let's have it. Oh
All
gosh,
right.
I don't know if I want to
So
hear this, but go ahead.
I I played one of our courses we're going to review today in the sim yesterday, and then I've had as I think you've known some pretty good rounds lately in sim
Yeah,
golf,
solid stuff. Yeah.
and yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. And I hold out on a par five from about 140 yards for an eagle, so pretty happy with that.
Yeah, I'll say.
And what does GS Pro do? Little golf clap, a little cheer. Like, dude, guys, get with it. Give us some. I want fireworks going off when you hole out. I want some big music. I want
You
way
want the
more
marching band?
than I want a marching
Ding, ding,
band. I
ding,
want
ding.
exactly. So my feature request is like give me a tick box where I can say when you do spectacular shots that you get more than a little golf clap and some guy in the background going, "Hey, hurry up! I'm behind you. I need to speed up my shot. You're going slow." So that's my feature request for GS Pro these days.
Well, the amount of clapping and applause that you got was much more than I ever get on a real golf course.
That may be true. Yeah, I agree. So that's my feature request.
All right. Well, maybe that'll come right after we get real people, right? I know
I'm
that's a
not sure
big.
which is easier to do, but yes, people want real people. People want real
They do.
people.
A lot of people want real people.
Yep. Yep. Agreed. They just want more pressure in sim golf.
Yes. So no guest this week, and it's probably a
Nope.
good thing because just when I thought over the holidays, we took 2 weeks off and we had, I think that episode we had 18 courses, and I'm thinking we'll never have that again. We'll never have 18. We'll keep up with them now. We're gonna be able to do 5 a week, 6 a week. Oh no 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 no. Mm-mm.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
So
Nope.
things started. Well, first of all, we had the show, the PGA show, which I think did maybe we did get doubled up this week a little bit. Um, but when then they came back, they started releasing these. I'm watching that Discord channel. You know, I, it's that TikTok meme. Oh, I fucked up. Because there's just all this stuff coming.
I had to mute. I muted the channel for the new course
Oh
releases
God.
because they just every time one popped up, I thought
Yep.
about, oh my goodness, So and I
So
have to
yeah,
like
yep.
get a new hard drive because I've downloaded so many courses
Uh,
to go play that I have to start deleting them all off because it's crazy.
yeah. So no guest star this week, and
Nope.
honestly, I'm sorry, we are not going to be able to do screenshots of 20 courses, and torch you like that. I mean, it wouldn't be torch; it would just be too long, right? And
Yeah.
I don't have the
Yeah.
time to go through and
Yeah.
grab all the screenshots anyway. So we
Yep.
we did go through and we explored some of the courses, and we're going to take a handful to deep dive into. We'll at least announce what came out so you have an idea. So starting back in January, so on the 28th, we had Cobblestone. So Jay Pruitt, his first 3 courses he released. So he's another guy who all of a sudden there was another person I think way back when who did 3 as their first.
Yep.
I don't know how you pull that off. 3 first courses, like I, that was not in my
Yep.
mind when I started building courses to do 3.
Nope.
I'm going to do
Nope.
3.
I was lucky to
Um,
get one done, and then
yeah.
it sucked.
So we got Jay Pruitt. So 2 of his are listed on the screen. We got a third one coming. We got Diamond Springs Golf Course, another newcomer here by Nick Dykeman. Finkbine by the Golf Boy.
Oh boy.
Yep. And a little place called TPC Colorado by this dude. Hey,
This
dude.
dude.
Yep.
This dude. Hey, dude.
Dude called Mashie. Waterford Golf Club that's a South Carolina course by Whipham. UNC. I wonder if he's a UNC fan. If that's why the name is. I wonder if he graduate. Maybe 87
Maybe
UNC.
graduate. Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe 87 graduate of
Yep.
UNC.
Initials 87 UNC. We got this. We got him figured out, right? I'm profiling him.
Mm-hmm.
Patriot Golf Club by one of our favorite personalities, Runpuddrun. And
It's
then
a horrible course. Don't ever play it. I'm kidding.
yes,
He's awesome.
right. No one plays his courses except now he's got TPC Scottsdale, so he can no longer say that, right?
Exactly. Yep. Yep.
Um, Seven Canyons by a newcomer, BluePotato. I like the name, Blue
I do
Potato.
too.
Not green
I do too.
potato, not white, but we got a blue potato.
Blue Potato.
Blue Potato. Sugarloaf Golf Club by the Golf Boy. Columbia Country Club, another beauty by Pakman.
Really pretty course.
Really pretty course. We are going to talk about that one. And a couple of the other ones we will talk about. Crystal Downs by Bugalax. That's not his first course. We got Dixie
Correct.
Red Hills, another one by Blue Potato, another one by Red Pun Run, Lake McBride.
And Blue, this is he's another one. These are his first 3 published
You're right.
courses.
I
once.
totally didn't. Yes, you're right. Another 3. What's
Yep.
hmm.
Yep. The hat trick.
Yeah. Highland Pacific by P. Wade. Think that's his second, right?
Yep.
The Pines Country Club by Jeff Carter, a
Jeff
West
Carter.
Virginia course. Columbia Oh, did I put that one in there twice? Columbia
Yeah, I think
Country
we have it in
Club.
there twice.
Yep. So maybe we don't have
Yep.
20. Maybe we only have 19. Maybe I counted wrong. The Fold at Eastwood. We're going to be talking a little bit about that one, right? Just a little bit.
Yep.
Country Club of Lexington, another one by the J. Pruitt. And something that came in literally like an hour before we're about to do the show. I'm saying Mashie. It's like, oh my God, we got so many. Oh, one more.
One more.
Blew in there today about an hour ago, which is Buffalo Tournament Club by the Golf Boy. So let's dig into a few of these. So, I 20 or 19. Let's say 20. Let's round up and say 20.
I love, and I know some of these were stacked up because of the PGA show, but regardless of that, that's just an amazing. The rate at which courses are coming in are great. I will say, so just so no everybody knows, I think Masta did as well. We have at least moused through every single course. I looked at every single course before the show. We're not going to talk about everyone in depth, but we downloaded every single course, moused through everything course. I played most of the ones we're going to talk in depth about in the sim. There was one trend I want to say, and I don't want to be like, my job is not to be the Simon Cowell of the broadcast here, but I would say for a fair number of courses, it's okay to hold back and do a little more detail on some of the courses. There were a fair number, not a fair number, there were some courses that came in that looked like they could use a little more work on detail, colorization, blending, billboards, stuff like that. So just again, a request to especially new designers, one, get folks to play your course and give you feedback before you submit it. And two, if you think you're done, you're not. That's the key. You're never done with a course. So just take a breath, have some folks look at it, take some feedback, and look at it again. There was some that I think were good, but could have launched to be a little better.
I'm wondering if part of this isn't, there have been so many beta courses, and I'm wondering if they just aren't all getting played.
Right? Yeah, I think it's hard to play the beta courses at the rate at which they're coming in the current form.
Yeah,
agree.
So I think some normally, and there's been a couple of guys who have traditionally beta tested a lot. That I know one of them is not doing some testing right now for various personal reasons. He has helped out tremendously, so that hurts, right? Not having him available.
Yep, agreed.
Okay.
Cool.
So let's get in some detail here, right? So 2020 Highland Pacific Golf Course, Victoria, British Columbia, Canada, Canuck, right? P Wade 3. So
this is his second course. Yeah, this is his second course. I went in deep on this one and really loved this course. I thought it was a really pretty course to do, to play through. Good from a golf perspective. I thought he chose the right tees. I think, as we all know, you can't always put every tee box in. You can't put every combo tee box in. But I do think he chose the right distances. It was fun to play, and it looked really good. It was a good course. I enjoyed it. So let's go forward to.
This is a real life course? So guys, if you're a new designer, remember, put your slopes in your indexes.
Put your slopes in.
It's gonna come back and bite you someday. When they start doing full handicap inside of the game, they're gonna need those. And if they're missing, just take the extra time and do it.
I think the thing, so I always look for on our courses, not necessarily when I play, but when we review and we kind of look at these, I always look to sit on the first hole or, stand on the first hole and be like, wow, okay, this is cool.
Yeah.
And I got this from this course. His detail was great. I love having, and listen, he's got some custom tee boxes and he customized the signs. One of our signs that I think Justin actually provided those signs and then he
Yes.
customized, which is great. But the thing that stood out for me was the rock work. And you'll see that as we go through some of the screenshots we took here. His rock work is really, really good. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure if it's Unity terrain or if it's prefabs,
If you can't
meshes that he
tell,
put in there.
then it's good.
If you can't tell, it's good. And I also like the way he blended grasses up against it to where if he's blending on the line. So off initially, really, really impressive first hole.
Yeah.
And as you'll see through the screenshots, really impressive rock work.
And I
So
know this is kind of like, to me, it goes without saying, these grasses underneath these pine trees. There were a couple courses that we did look at this week that had similar areas, but they just didn't put any grasses there,
yeah.
right? And to me,
Or wispy, one or two little wispy pieces of grass.
this looks complete. And and I don't know those other courses. Maybe they didn't have GSPro. That could have been part of the problem. I'm not sure
Sure.
what tools they were using, but the only thing I would say here is, guys, don't be afraid to rotate. I know, like in real life, a lot of times your tee markers, they face the golfer. Don't be afraid to rotate them to face the camera, because um, I want to see what that looks like. And you're never going to be able to stand in the game and see those face on. So don't be afraid to rotate those 9 degrees and have them face the camera, right?
Yep.
I mean, just a
Yep.
little.
I also like on Bear Dance on those, we talked about those T signs, the hole signs. I think I stick them on every single hole basically because I
Yeah.
want everybody to be able to see regardless of teeing from. So that's a great point.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can put them like right in here because it's not like the guy's going to backswing into them or whatever.
Yep.
Don't be afraid to do that stuff. So there's some of the rocks you were talking about. No, interesting. When you captured this photo, and when I looked at that rock on the left and I looked at that texture, if I had seen that texture on Quixel or wherever he got it, I would have passed it over.
Right.
But but he pulled it off here, and it's
Yeah.
impressive that he had an eye to grab that and put it on there.
It looks really, really good, and I also love how he blended the like I said, the grasses against the rock like that. So it's
Yeah.
not all the harsh lines. If you look on the right hand side, grass is on top of the rock, grass is along the edges of the rock. It's just really blended nicely.
Yep.
I think when we had Sting Eye on last week or last episode, we were talking about the rock work he did in Whispering Pines. And listen, I think he's a magician with what he puts in. This is pretty darn close. Like I think the rock work he did is pretty darn close. What we've
Yeah.
seen in like Whispering Pines and other courses, pretty high up there.
Just it's totally different than Whispering Pines too, right?
Completely,
Totally
completely
different.
different.
Good
Yep.
and different,
Yep.
right?
So this was an interesting shot. I took this to show again. I thought it was a really pretty view as a golfer standing on this tee when I played this in the sim. All I can think about was don't go left. Like just don't hit the ball left into which is what you want and you're playing sim golf, okay?
Yeah.
But I also noticed if you look at those trees, my initial comment was going to be, wow, he's got some work to do on his billboarding. Those billboards off of those pine trees in the background they're not billboarding properly.
Hmm.
But then I started playing around with the advanced lighting and the inset, which if you hit go, you'll see this is actually an advanced lighting setting. And so be careful when you set, and I've been guilty of this as well. Be careful when you set your advanced lighting. If you set it, don't just look at it on hole one. When you set your lighting, kind of go through your course and see.
Yeah.
Once I changed the advanced lighting to change the latitude and longitude, get the sun a little bit higher in the sky, then all the billboarding came in perfectly for those trees. So
Yeah.
just kind of something to watch out for.
Now I'm going to critique your advanced lighting here. So
Okay. Yeah.
your shadow that you have here, what I like to do is that shadow strength, start tweaking it over, and the second you start to see the terrain underneath, stop. You should
Fair.
just see, it shouldn't be black right here. You should
Yep.
just barely start to see like the terrain underneath there. So that's a little bit too much shadow strength. Um, so
That's a
that's
good
my hint is
point.
shadow strength. Have a shadow right in front of you in the scene. take that slider, start moving it over, and then the second you start seeing the color
Yep.
or the texture bleed through, that's your spot. That's your spot.
Yep, and I did not. It's funny. I did not even look at shadow strength. I only looked at longitude and latitude to
Well,
get the sun higher.
well,
So that's a
you
great
had a
point.
mission. You were going to fix
I
those
did.
billboards, right? So
I was doing billboards. I wasn't even looking at shadows. But you're exactly right.
more detail here, right?
I mean, listen. I think we're all a fan of custom assets and even mixing custom and non-custom assets. I love the fact that the parking lot is full of exotic sports cars. Like he's got. So I think that is great.
Is he the
And
one that posted this pack to the Discord? Someone posted the car
oh,
pack.
maybe.
I think it was BluePotato. I think decided to do that. So what was great is he pulled all these cars together. They're free. He found them. And then he exported them and put them into a Unity package for everyone else to use. That's what the community is all about.
Yep. Love it. Love
This
it. I
looks
just
like
like
this looks like where the maintenance people sit out and have their cigarettes,
maintenance
right?
guys are having a cigarette and having a little lunch while they're waiting. Yeah, exactly. I was thinking the exact same thing.
It's great.
Overall, great chorus, really nicely done for a second release. Really good.
Yeah. Yep. And then we got Seven
Seven
Canyons.
Canyons. Here's our first of the BluePotato courses we're going to talk about today.
Yes. Yep.
This is one that I played in the sim. Now I'll be honest with you guys. I will confess here. Steve, can we have some confession music, please? Um, I reached out to BluePotato and he and I were chatting actually today, and we got on Discord and we're talking about, and he gave me some insight into some of the critiques I really had on this course, and why they were, and so they make perfect sense. So we'll talk about that here. Okay, stop the confession music,
Yeah.
Steve. Appreciate that. This was a fun course. This was unique. Like there are not many kind of Sedona, Arizona, the Arizona painted desert kind of courses in GSPro yet. And so this was a fun one. The red rocks, the red colorizations were good. I love lots of detail. He does a great work. I think he does a great job on object placement, lots of rocks and trees, but they're the right ones. The hot air balloons in the background are a nice touch, and it's a great asset. I have that same asset. It's a great asset with some trees. So overall, I thought it was a really, really good job. Most of the critiques are pretty minor. Some colorization. You see the mix of in the background. You can see the mix of the rock prefabs with the terrain. Blending all that together is always a tricky asset to do. Exactly.
Yeah, I've been here.
There's some and to fix that would have been putting billboarded shrubs. You can see them on the satellite imagery. Well, it does turn out he has, and he's going to post this in the Discord. There's an issue and I couldn't solve it in all honesty with VS Pro, where his VS Pro on his outer terrain is only planting on about 10 meters of the outer terrain. The rest of the outer terrain won't get anything. So, and I wasn't able to figure out why it's everything is correct. His colliders are correct. Everything is correct. His Unity terrain everything is set up properly, and it is planting on that terrain, but only about 10 meters. So he tried to put actual shrubs, and that would take care of the blending between the terrain and the rock work. So overall, good, really, really nicely done. Really good detail, I thought.
I'm wondering if he added that outer terrain later. If he installed VS Pro, put his inner terrain in there, and then added that outer later on, he's going to have to recalculate his grid.
It was the one thing we didn't do is recalculate.
But you got to be careful doing that. You got to do a backup and a restore of all your plants.
Exactly, and I wasn't about to put him down that path. Correct. Yep. So let's go to the next shot. Again, I'm like taking glamour shots of, like, again, you can see a little bit. You add those shrubs in the background, and you'll blend in against those rocks. I thought that was the only thing needed. I think the mix of the red rocks with the terrain worked really well. His bridge, I thought it was a really nice looking bridge, and he blended it in nicely. The tree colors, I think if those trees on the right, if there's any small critique that I have, maybe a little bit too green on how those look.
Get that green hue over on these trees over here to match the hue on this tree here. Yes.
And like DP Roberts said it best on one of the Discord, and I fully agree with them, which is no one object should pop.
Yes.
Everything should blend together, regardless of what their color is. Should all blend together, and I feel like those trees on the right kind of pop a little bit, so just tone those down a little bit.
Yep.
So that was the feedback on that. And then on the next screenshot, this is where he and I actually got on the phone to talk about this, or on Discord to talk about this. The 3D grass is not fully using the sat shader. I noticed that there was some blending issues in the 3DG around this bunker. You can see it just isn't pulling the ground color properly on the blade color of the grasses. And so I got him on Discord to ask if we want to talk about it. And it turns out that for sure, and actually, if you go to the next one, you can see it even a little better.
Oh,
Whoop,
no, we don't have it.
sorry, is that we'll talk about it in one of the other courses as well because it's kind of uniform across the courses. So we fixed all of that, and we'll talk a little more detail on one of the other courses because we have a
Okay.
better screenshot that shows it.
Oh, yeah.
This one I wanted to show. He's got really some custom houses in the background with the balloons. I thought it was a really pretty
I think
view
the
all
nice
up.
touch also is the construction. Houses under construction.
Yes. Yes,
That's
house under
unique.
construction. That is
You
a
know,
great, yeah. So I played this one in the sim yesterday. I will happy report I shot a 66, so pretty happy
nice.
from the back tee.
I
So
said after you shoot a 66, I can't golf with you anymore. Sorry.
I have a 64 and a 66 in this week, so I'm
Wow.
hitting the ball pretty well right now.
Wow. Yeah. That's untouchable. That's untouchable. By me at least. Jeez Louise. So this is Sugarloaf up in Carabasset Valley, Maine. I love this area. First of all, this is a little bit endearing to my heart because I was a big skier and had many races at Sugarloaf. Um, so first of all, one critique right off the bat is, man, put some par threes in there, right? It's one
Yeah,
thing I think is great
yeah,
about GSPro is everyone says, hey,
yeah.
what are the best par three courses? Every course is a par three, right? It only takes an extra second. Put the juniors in there, put the par threes in there.
And
He does.
listen, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was finished. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, listen, initially, I wasn't against putting par threes in, but I was kind of like, I was going to play par threes. Who are their kids and stuff going to play par threes? I have been playing par threes now probably 3 times a week
Oh yeah,
to just work on approach shots. Like my biggest issue in my golf game is hitting greens. Okay.
yeah.
And so I've actually been loading up just par threes and I want different courses, different par threes and not putting them in. I'm not playing this course on that par three round because it doesn't have them.
A lot of times with my buddies and we play our normal golf sim round Thursday nights. Then at 10 o'clock when we're all done, we all do our dollar bets down, play closest to the pins. And what I do is I look through those recent courses and I use that as an opportunity to look at a course I really want to play in full. Throw some threes
Yep.
in there and have fun.
Yep.
One of the other shows, I'm going to have to tell you guys how we do our gambling with the closest to the pin. It's really fun how we do it. Um, so Sugarloaf Golf Club. So this is hole number one. He went for the fall look on this, which is I'm going to tell you right now, if you're a new designer, don't go right off the bat doing fall looks. It is tough.
It's
Okay, it is
hard.
very hard. It's hard to get those colors light. He's close. He's really
He's
close.
close.
The one thing I think he did really well, and I think a lot of people miss on, is like when you have fall colors, your trees normally don't have all their leaves. Some trees are in various states of leaves falling off. So if you have your fall colors and all your trees have all their leaves, to me that in your head, something's not right. You need to have some branches showing. So you can see in here,
Yep.
he does have some like branches and some of these trees that are thinned out a little bit, which I think helps. My critique here though is this really orange tree is just, it's too orange and he did some hue variations on the leaves. So if you look on this, we got some orange and then some reds. Those should be closer in color, not so far apart. It almost makes it look like Dr. Seuss kind of crazy tree a little bit. So I would just say the hue variation there just needs to maybe back off a tad.
Agreed. And I would if you can, I would turn the saturation down a little bit. It's a little bit bright. I love where you're going with it. I think he's in the right direction. He's close.
Yeah.
And to tackle it, and he's relatively, I mean, I say new designer. I think he's got 10 or 11 courses out now.
Yeah.
Which is great. And I will say his sat shading has gotten really good. I
Yes.
do like the sat shader on this course. It looks really, really good.
Yep. And you can see, so here's I did these screen captures. You can see my shadowing. I turned it
Yep.
down just so you can start to see the textures here.
Yep.
That's in my opinion how you should have that shading adjusted. So
Yep. There's
here's,
a great shader example right there, on the shadow
yes.
example right there.
Yep. Yep. So here is just more of the fall colors. I think this maroon tree back here is good. The one thing I noticed is he billboards really early, and I'm not sure if he was trying to capture some performance here, get some performance back. So what I avoid have happening is if I'm on a tee box, go to your longest hole and go on the tee box and look down the fairway.
Yep.
You shouldn't be billboarding on trees that you see at the end of that fairway. That's my
Yep.
opinion. Billboards are fine for mountains. And of course, if you fly over, you're going to see billboarding. But if I'm standing on a tee box, I shouldn't see any billboards right off the fairway, in my opinion. So a
Agreed.
lot of these holes, like I think this one, these trees down here are all billboarded. So when you start to move forward, you get that pop when it goes from
Yep.
billboard to his lot 3 or lot 4. So I would say, maybe just push the billboards out a little bit, but I think he might be struggling with performance a little bit, which might make that
Yeah,
difficult.
of the courses that we're going deep review wise, this was the one that, and I'm running a pretty beefy system with a 3080 Ti. This is the one that it pushed performance more than any of
Yeah.
the others. So maybe that's why he did it.
Yeah, I mean, he has grasses you can see all the way back through the woods here,
Yeah.
which is going to make things struggle a little bit. I think I captured this one. You can really see that
There's the
there's
billboarding.
the
You really
billboard
see
here.
it.
Yep, and all
Yep.
the ones down here, these are all billboards, so they just kind of look a little bit off, not as crisp, kind of more like a oil painting than rather like than real life.
But a really good course. Like he did a really, really nice job on the colors and overall it looks really good. I had
Yep,
fun playing it.
yep, I totally agree. So this is another BluePotato course. Was this one? I think I captured these, right?
You did this
Um,
one, yeah. You
uh,
counted this one. I played it too.
BluePotato. Don't forget, I think it's the third time I said this. Get your
Slopes.
slopes and your indexes in there. Also helps me because if I want to play this in Golf League night, I just want to go in there and look at the slope and indexes so I can count the handicaps for my boys.
Yep.
So another desert course, and what I do like here is that he went with a completely different, I would say, color base, right?
Yep.
Not red, but like more
Yep.
of that sandy, brown tan desert. So good for him, you know. Um, I do. The only thing, and you said you talked to him. I didn't think there was a sat shader being used here, and I thought it would. First of all, the course is great. I love it, and
Course is great. Course
this
is
is
fun.
something I'm gonna have to make a mental note to come back and play this, and a minimum with the par threes with the guys. But I felt like some of these hard lines around the greens we could go just maybe a little bit of sat shader, get those to bleed over a little bit. Now, of course, V4 is going to fix a lot of that, right?
Right.
So
Right.
when the
And
V4 pulls,
I did chat with him, and I don't remember now which course he had pulled up, whether it was this one or was the one the earlier that we talked about. Um, so one of them, he does do sat shaders. I just don't remember if this one was a sat shader or if that one, which one we were looking at
yeah,
earlier today.
yeah, and I do like I think he did a great job with the planning here, the cactus. I'm curious if he hand planted this or this is biomes because
They look hand planted,
they
or
do.
they're just too precisely. I hand plan everything that's in the golf course
Yeah,
these days to get it right where I want it, and this looks all hand planted to me.
yeah, I think it looks really good.
I do.
Um,
I love the cactuses. And by the way, the detail. I don't know which pack he's using for cacti. You get close, the detail on the cactus the die
yeah,
are really good.
yeah. His performance is spot on, just above what I would consider like questionable, but like, and I think we talked about that earlier. Is I think in my videos, I did like a lot of the videos that the new guys learn to build courses, and there's many times I'm like, check your performance, benchmark your CPU, pay attention to this, find
Yep.
out, and I have a whole section on performance, and I think maybe I went a little overboard, and the guys are really nervous about it. So now you see a lot of new courses where, Mashie, you mentioned this earlier that the performance is through the roof sometimes, and maybe
Yeah.
have some more detail. Maybe don't be afraid to push the limits a little bit, right?
Yeah, I would
Um,
listen. I do it backwards, right? The way I did it, and I don't know if it's old school these days or what, but I build the course with every single thing I want on it. Okay, and then I get it how I want it, and then I bring things back, okay, to get performance where it needs to go. That's just the way my approach is.
mhm.
On the Hawaii course, I've got lava rock everywhere. I'm not kidding you. And I did mesh terrains. I put in 7 different types of lava rock and then dropped them in the mesh terrain. It looked fantastic. And I was getting on my 3080 Ti about 8 frames a second. So then I scaled things back and I turned this one off and turned this one off and changed the how many rocks were in the scene, and I got it dialed in and it looks fantastic. Versus put nothing in there and shoot for the highest performance you can possibly get. And so I think design some of the designers are leaving detail out and don't need to. Just get it good enough
Yeah.
performance wise, or pretty good performance, but don't sacrifice
Yeah, I
detail.
think the challenge with new guys though is all of a sudden it's not performing well and they don't know where to start to fix it. So,
Fair.
you
Well,
know,
that's why we've got a Discord channel.
yeah, yep, exactly. Um, so I really thought this was a beautiful scene. The only thing, and I'm not sure if this is a critique or more of a question, is like I'd love to see a picture of this hole because I feel like the rocks are almost like too up in the air, but
Mm.
it maybe they really look like that too. And I know in Pennsylvania things don't look like that, and I've never been to Arizona, so I don't know. I don't know.
I I assumed it was by designer choice. So
Yeah, I would
yeah.
think so too. That would be. It's more of a question than it is a critique.
Yep.
I love the mountain work here. That's terrain painting back there, which he did a really. Again, it is really hard to get terrain painting right, but he does a
Yep.
good job here of just getting that with the rocks and at least the right color hue to make
Yep.
that blend better.
Yep.
Um,
Agreed.
just wanted to highlight the beautiful signs he had, which he customized. Just another look at, the sat shader could help with this harsh line right here.
Yep.
Houses everywhere on this course. I know that is a ton of work to drop in on those houses. Whenever I see a course and it's just got houses everywhere, I feel for the designer. I mean, I really,
Agreed.
those are nice.
It's so hard.
I'm dealing with that with Kapalua right now, and there aren't even that many houses.
It's such a pain to do all the terrain work for the
Yeah,
house so it lands good.
yeah,
This was the one that we were talking about on the 3D grass. So when
yeah,
I was going through this course, if you notice the blade color on the right, ignore the blade color on the left because it's just wrong.
yeah,
The blade color on the right is a bright green, kind of a dark and bright green. It doesn't match the floor color at all.
yep,
And we were chatting. He and I were chatting about this, and yeah, he had actually inadvertently just put the wrong. He had not set up the sat shader properly for his 3DG. We did it. Took literally 5 minutes, and then it turns also he had to change the hue color of the floor in Unity, which you can do, but he hadn't carried the hue color of the floor over to the 3DG. So the combination of the two were creating a
right,
3DG that did not match whatsoever. When we were done after about 6 or 7 minutes of just tweaking, it looked really great.
yeah.
So again, the notion of everything should blend, nothing should pop out specifically. Just keep that in mind, and you'll if you follow that kind of rule, you'll do great.
Yeah, what I always like you'll find as a designer is just when you're outside, just look around, right? And you'll notice like I'm outside, I'm looking at my grass right now in my yard, which is pretty pitiful because it's the middle of winter, but it doesn't like the grass. I can't tell where the grass ends and the ground begins.
Yeah,
Where here you definitely get some of that. You look in that grass on the right,
pop.
and especially on the left here, there's that the ground is showing through a lot, and
Yeah.
it should blend much better, right? I just like this
Oh,
because
that looks familiar.
yeah, so I just like it when I think one of the best forms of a compliment is when someone uses an asset I create in my course. So I created this clubhouse for Hershey Lynx a long time ago, and he used it, and it's extremely flattering that somebody uses it. So thank you, I appreciate it. And also, I wanted to point out this clubhouse is extremely difficult to put on a train because it's not flat, right? The
Yeah.
back side of it is low. The stairs actually, which you can't see, and I'm going to explain why we're getting this in a second. The stairs, which wrap around the sides on the left and right, come down to a different level. Then the back side of this is up and where the cars would normally pull in. So brilliant work here. What he did, he plopped it down here. Instead of trying to fix the train, just put some trees in front of the stairs, and you can't even tell that those stairs, literally over here by these golf
Uh-huh.
these carts over here, that's like 5-6 feet off the air. I mean, but you just
Can't even
hey, I'm
tell.
gonna throw some trees in front of it. Who cares?
Perfect.
So awesome.
Love it.
Another BluePotato, this 9-hole course, which
He's
looks like a
busy.
lot of fun, and I love the yardages here,
Yep.
especially in the par threes.
Yep.
Um, And so that same red hue, use the and these courses must be near each other, I'm thinking, right?
I think they're in the same vicinity of each other, correct?
Yeah. Um, oh, I brought up this hole for one reason, a slight critique, which is so see this wavy
Yep.
here.
I
And
knew where you were going with it.
so, and this is where you can get this is uber detail, right? Which is, hey, you can make a decision if you want to fix this so that line is down here at the bottom where that meets the fairway
Yep.
or that meets. Here's what you do. There's a thing called overhead image creator. And I have a whole video series on it inside of my tutorials. What you do is expose your bare terrain and you can paint your terrain exactly where that begins or ends, right? And then you can export that and you can bring it into Inkscape and you can draw that line precisely in Inkscape where it should be, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to fix that and make this look prestigious, right? You could make this line, you could paint your terrain, export it, redraw it in Inkscape, and then get that exactly where it needs to be.
You know what the other, and it's so funny on these courses because there's always 100 ways to do things. The other way you could address this too is if you go into your Blender, your post mesh, you can select those faces that are high,
Yep.
detach them, and then join them to the deep rough there.
Yep.
And essentially you're just modifying your deep rough to include that green and your rough to not include that part of the green.
Yep.
And then you just bring them back into your Unity and all of a sudden you're all covered. So either way, you could do
Yep.
there's multiple ways of doing it, but I agree. When I saw this in game, that was my first thought, which is that's weird the grass goes up that high, but it's easily fixable.
Yep. It's probably something I bet he saw. He was probably pulling his hair out. I don't know how to fix that.
Probably,
How do I
yeah.
do that?
Yeah.
Another shot. What I like, and I should have turned off the overhead, the GUI in here, so because that
Mm,
157 T marker. I love the rock work back here,
yep.
and going back to what you said about fixing your advanced lighting on this hole, I went in and I changed the shadow so that I was getting a shadow coming off of that cliff, and then you get beautiful depth
Depth. Yep.
and it just looks real at the I love this scene. I love the colors here are great. You've got terrain all the way in the back, but it works well, even though it's like there's actually an area back there where you can tell it's stretched, but it's fine. you know
Yep.
I can see that was almost like an accident, but it works fine. I love it.
That
This is
looks
awesome.
great.
Yeah. And
Looks
but
great. And listen, I gotta say it. For his first three releases, we're reviewing all three of his first three releases because they're good.
yeah.
They're really good courses, not just to
Yeah.
play, but in the work he did, the
Yeah.
design work he did.
I can't wait to see what he can do with V4 stuff.
I agree.
you know
Yeah,
um
he's gonna.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. And there's another one. Just into this cool rock work here.
Yeah,
Looks good over here. I'm curious as I don't have any courses planned I would ever need this rock work, but I'm just really curious like the try counts on those things because they look really good, but you think they'd be expensive performance wise, but who knows?
I
Um,
used similar rocks on the Arrowhead course because very similar kind of red rock out of the and they weren't bad. If he's
yeah.
using the pack that I think he's using, they weren't bad.
I just noticed over here, this billboard way back here looks
Yeah,
really light. Not sure what that. I hadn't noticed that before. There might be another one back here, but overall. Um, Then we got the Pac-Man course. So
Pac-Man.
yeah, this course I think has been on his Patreon for a while. I think I remember way back when he was working on this and posted some things in Discord about it. Um,
This
but
is
this is
such a
whole
great
one.
course. He does such good work, and I mean, we reviewed his stuff in the past, and this just stays at the level that we expect from Pac-Man these
Yeah,
days. Like
yeah,
his satellite, he does some of the best satellite image. He and Tech do some of the best satellite imagery in game. His 3DG is fantastic. I played this course in the sim this morning and really, really enjoyed the course itself. It was fun to play, and his attention to detail is through the roof.
yep. And if you look at this, there is something that stands out, right? The clubhouse.
The clubhouse,
But no trees really do, right?
no,
Even this one that's at the end of the fairway blends in nice, even though
blends
it's
in.
prominent.
Nothing
Um,
pops.
I
Nothing
love
pops out
this.
like, oh, it's out of place.
The
Yeah, it
sat
looks so
shader
good.
on the edges of the bunker is really good. Um, this tree right here, I gotta find out what tree that is. Is that a
I know.
Merkirk? I don't, but I just love this tree. It looks so full. Um, He had a lot of bridge work on here, which is
A
really
lot of bridge
nice.
work.
This ditch is amazing. I think a good trick that I'm learning from just looking at this is if you want to ditch and you want to make it look full, into the fact you're going to lose a ball in it, build your ditch, but then plant the grasses so that the grasses come up even with the grass or the
Yep.
train on either side, because that's exactly
Yep.
what he did here, um, which is fantastic. It's wispy, it's good. This is the approach on 18.
Great view of the clubhouse.
Yeah,
Just a really good. He does such good work.
yeah. And then the final view of the clubhouse
Custom
because
assets.
yeah, we got custom asset. Looks fantastic. Um, then we got the fold, a first course. So Mashie, why don't you introduce this one? Whew.
He is CE Sim Golf is you and I were talking about this earlier, an artist.
Yeah,
This is a beautiful course. First release, if I remember correctly, is that right?
this is
First or
his
second?
first release. Yes.
His first release, yeah.
Yeah.
And great again. I always look at he's missing slopes. Come on, man. I think this is a real course. So get your slopes in
Um,
there.
I don't think it is. Well,
Oh, is this a pretend course?
it is based on, so if you, the description here,
You're
which
right.
I do read those, so it's like an old nine and a new
It's an
nine,
old.
and he
Yep.
combined them together,
Yep.
changed it around a little bit. So I'm not sure. Maybe he doesn't have slopes and indexes in here because he's not exactly sure.
You're right. You're
I'm
right
not
on that
sure
one. And so that was my bad. My bad for saying that. I for
because he
some
doesn't
reason
have
thought this
indexes in
was
here either, right?
correct. There's no indexes. There's no slope on it. So that makes sense. It's basically inspired by fantasy course. Let's put it
Yeah,
that way.
I would. I don't know.
Um,
I kind of did my fantasy course, and I made it up as close as I could. Took a course I felt
did
was
you?
comparable, and then took those numbers and made them close.
I just make them up, make it as hard as I could. Let's go on to the next screenshot.
Yeah.
Um, love, I love his rock work. I love the custom team. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. He's an artist. Nothing pops. We've been talking about that the whole day today. Nothing really pops here. His sat shader looks really good with a nice texture on it and the right amount of texture and the diffuse texture on that sat to make it look like there's, it's kind of a grassy area. I love personally when you use a rock as the hole marker. I mean, both as a team marker and hole marker, it matches. It looks good. Um, I just love it. I just think overall he did a really good job. There's
Yeah.
not a lot to critique. The billboards are, I think, personally in the right distance.
His
A little
obsession
fog.
for the longest time was bunkers. Remember, he was spending
Yeah,
hours on
yeah.
doing creating textures for his bunkers and UV mapping his bunkers and pulling them into Unity. And then I think he finally realized he's got to stop being so obsessive with his bunkers.
Well, what I love too, if you go back one slide,
Yeah.
the combination of the right distance of billboarding with the gradient fog together
Yep.
is
Yeah.
the perfect combination because you can't see the tree through the fog. So put your fog out around where you billboard your trees,
Yeah.
and it just makes it look that much better.
Yeah. Yep. The only thing
Yep.
I would say it's fine, but I feel like the T markers, I feel like we're playing Mark Zuckerberg's private course, Facebook. The
I
meta
did not think
the
that until you just
metaverse.
now said that.
It's fine, but I just think, oh, this is the Facebook course right now. I mean, no offense. It's that's
I don't think that. See, he just that's not me. I don't think
all right.
that.
All right.
Another great view. I love the little house in the background here. It just the ditch full of flowers, the right amount of plants, the right amount of flowers. The bridge work is great.
Yeah.
I just like there's not much
And
to
what's also great
critique
is
on
he's
this.
not afraid to throw a dead tree in there.
He threw a dead tree in
You
there.
know, I
Exactly.
it's great. I love it.
Yeah.
Makes it look ultra realistic when you do
It's
that.
fun course to play too. I played this one. It was a fun course to play. Really tight. This is not a run pud run course. Given all the tree lined on the edges. Really, it's not the whole course. It's not like every hole is tree lined on both sides. So you can miss like this hole. You can miss left, which I did. I missed way left and had the ability to come back over that. So um, really good work on his bunker. As we talked about his obsession on bunkers, and you can see them in the background there. They look great.
Yep. No,
Love the flower choice, by the way. I
yep.
don't know if this is real or not. I mean, like, but like, if you're gonna pop, Okay, in
Yes,
my
there you go.
opinion,
As we just
if you're
said,
gonna
nothing should
pop,
stand out except for flowers.
flowers should pop. Okay, unless they're dead flowers and you're kind of going for that muddy look and like but flowers, it's okay to pop flowers. I love the color choice of the pop flowers there. I think it looks great. And then again, the bark on the trees, his trees are great. I don't know if these are base pack trees or not. I don't think they are, but like he's got the white birch bark and then he's got the darker bark. I mean, it just I just thought it looked really really well done.
Yep. And then more
And then
custom stuff. Yep.
more custom stuff. I love the rock fence along the right hand side. It looks like it's been there for 1,000 years, which is great. I personally love kind of a waste bunker type. Like this thing is covered in vegetation with a few spots you can hit sand out of it. I think it looks great. I love this. I love this shot. I was not in that bunker. I didn't have to hit this shot, but in real life, I'm usually in that bunker and cursing a ball has got to go through the vegetation to get there. It looks real. It looks good. I mean,
Yeah.
this is one where you start to question about where does photography end and sim golf begin because it's pretty darn good.
Yes, absolutely it is. Yep. This looks like it could be the photo from like the brochure for the golf
Yeah.
course, right?
Yeah. I mean, you got the cart right there. Oh, you want to talk about this one? Do you want me to do it? You want to talk about this?
No, yeah, I can talk. So, a lot of times when I see these unique courses like he just did, I fly around to see, what he did. Now, I noticed
Yep.
that he was using a lot of recessed. You take a tree and you can move it down, you can turn it into a bush,
Yep.
which works fine. But what I found when I went underneath to look at that, I found all these little like miniaturized, like he scaled these trees down. So these trees that you're looking at right here are all the way underneath the terrain. They're not seen at all. So I'm just saying, see, like sim golf, you might want to look at these because they might be pulling away from your performance because even though you can't see these trees, they're
Yep.
not called and they're going to be impacting your performance. So you might want to figure out where these came from and why they're underneath there. Now, these bigger ones in the back, they're actually poking up through and they're used as bushes. So everyone else, that's fine to do, but keep in mind that you're taking this tree, which might be, depending on LOD 0 or LOD 1, is going to be several thousand tries. And even though you're only using the tip of it, guess what? You still have to render the rest of the tree because it's not called even though it's underneath there. So
Right.
just keep in mind, if you go crazy on planting bushes by using sunken trees, it could be a little taxing, okay?
Yep. Agreed. Agreed. Good find. You guys think we're not looking around? We're looking above. We're looking below. We're looking underneath. We're looking all over.
Yeah, so I'm
Now that
not,
we're
and
looking.
they're all like these little tiny ones, almost like maybe he intended to use them as bushes, but then
They went too
m-
low.
went too low and they got planted underneath and not sticking up anymore. So just might be worth checking out. Yep.
Yep.
And
For
then we
sure.
have this pretty cool course called TPC Colorado, um,
Oh, TPC Colorado.
by someone who's here, right?
I feel bad like using our own show to talk about one of our own
You know,
courses, but I guess
I I have to say that I told you that we're going to do this because I said, you put enough work into the show that I think it's only fair that we do, fly around your course. Okay.
Well, thank you, thank you. This is an
Yeah.
interesting course. So I did TPC Colorado because one I had two things on my mind when I did. I think all of us come up with why do we want to build a course in the first place, right? For me, there were two things for this particular course. One was don't laugh at me. I wanted a higher altitude course that my friend Runpuddrun would want to play. Which means it wasn't huge elevation changes from tee to green, and it wasn't tree lined on both sides. He hits the ball a mile, but he also wants the ability if he's going to miss it to still be in play, which a lot of us want. So I thought about that, and I thought about I wanted to give the GSPro community what I would call a tournament course. Okay,
Yeah.
this is a course that's used on the Corn Ferry Tour. It boasts the longest par five in the country at 574 yards, I think it is. 775 yards, I think it is, thereabouts. It is at altitude. It's not quite a mile. It dips down a little bit up in Berthoud. It's about 5,300 or 5,200 feet, but you don't have any elevation tee to green. So I thought about this course. If you really want to enjoy this course, um, you'd need to put it on stimp 13. It is designed to be stimp 13 on every single hole. There is the ability to stop the ball at stimp 13. I would put these fairways is somewhat hard. I would set the stimp at 13 and I would just hit the ball. It is a long course. This hole right here, this is a from the back tees. This is a 220-yard par three with 100% carryover water from the back tees. If you can see in the mini map, or if you look to the left, there's a little tee box off to the left of the cart path in the mini map. The black tees, the tee forward. If you look to the left, actually,
Left.
that tee box right there, you can see this tees over there. Almost all the tee boxes are over water right there. You're going to
Yeah.
carry everything over the water. Even the shorter distances are all over water. It is brutal. So it's a fun course. It's a hard course from a design perspective because, as you can see, and I really struggled to figure out how to do this.
You can't hide
It's all
anything.
you can't hide anything. It's all plains,
Yep.
and when I originally put grasses as far out as I could see, my performance was horrible, like
Yep.
really, really horrible. So I ended up train painting with something that matches the mountains and did the best I could to kind of like cover the flyovers with the areas I could and not hurt. You can see where I train painted versus planting. So I was just trying to figure out the best way to do it and make it map to the mountains in the background and have it match the best I could. But this was a course that was really hard to do because you can't hide anything. The other thing that was really hard about it too, the course is only 2, maybe 3 years old. All of the houses are still being built and under construction. So I put fully developed houses and then put trees in front of them as how it would look a few years from now in certain spots of the course. And other spots I left it completely bare because the houses aren't even started yet. So really interesting one. I also, if you notice on that back one that you just had right there, go back if you can, or go any one of the tee boxes. Doesn't matter which one. You'll see the walk path that I put on there. I did not mask the walk path because in real life, the grasses are growing over top of the walk path. It's not clean. So if you look at that walk path between the tee boxes, I didn't mask them. Go to the left a little bit. No, the walk path,
The walk
right?
path. Okay.
Yeah, in between tee boxes. The right, keep going around,
Oh.
right there. So that walk path is not masked at all. It's just let the grasses grow in,
Yep.
grow over top of it, kind of, make it a little longer. The other unique trait, which was a first for me actually, is if you go up to the bunkers, they're kind of a darker sand bunker.
Yep.
And not those bunkers. Let's go to go to hole 12. And if you go forward on hole 12 to the bunkers up by towards halfway in the fairway, go forward straight. They're all pot bunkers.
Yep.
Everything in this course are deep pot bunkers, and if you get in them, you're in jail.
Oh yeah.
And it
When
was
we
my
played this, I got stuck in one of those. Remember?
it was my first time. You have to go backwards on some of these pot bunkers to get out of. It was my first time to deal with pot bunkers and to try to texture them properly. And I did not do sat shader on the sand. I just ran out of time and wanted to get the course out. Now we did run in. Go to 6 real quick. I'll show you an interesting issue that came up yesterday, as a matter of fact. So on this shot from the back tees, when you hit the ball towards that creek, towards the hole, it would get caught up in the sky. I didn't run into this. We played this course and never ran into this issue. Okay. And some folks were playing it yesterday and ran into the issue. And the ball would literally get hung up in the sky and would stop. And it brought to my attention. We start looking at it and trying to figure it out. We could not figure out why it's getting stuck, and I had to pull John in. Right, you had to pull Johnny in to help the big guns in to figure out why. Really interesting issue. Turns out one of the lods from one of the background mountains on the other side of the course was invisible and floating over the tee box, but only the back tees. So whenever you hit a ball from the back tees, it would fly in the air, hit the lod of the mountain, and get stuck. But it was invisible.
Right.
So,
Right.
so there's a really cool tool in Unity that lets you look at the collider. It's an analysis tool that lets you look at all the colliders on the course. And with that, we were able to find that for some reason in this part of the course, there was a collider at about, 40 yards above the course. And we were able to figure out which mountain it was and go from there. But it took a couple of hours of building and trying and building. We thought the stream was bad. We thought there was a mixed collider. We had above the pin about ready to come in and look at GSPro issues and stuff. And so we figured it out. It's all done. It's all been submitted. It's all been posted. It's all fixed. So thank you guys for posting that. So anyway, just a really fun course. These are mostly nature manufacturer assets. I really do like one of the things I do like. It was kind of unique for me was the blend, the colorization of the grass. You see out there the different the
Yes.
greens, the yellows, the browns. It's really I really love it. It waves nicely in the wind.
Yep.
I thought that was I like that personally. So
These are just grass hues that you're using, right?
yep,
Yep.
just different. It's the same grass planted at different heights so that it gives you depth and then use different hues on each of the three grasses to kind of create that view.
Yep. Yeah, and you can adjust. I don't think people knew this. You can adjust how quickly those hues change, right? So if you look out through here
Mm-hmm.
and you wanted this, you can see in this picture this spotty, less patchiness. You can make those patches smaller and you can make those
Yep.
patches bigger. So,
Go to number 8 for a second.
all right.
Because again, just a really fun. And I did make these trees. I did blend them in the best I could with the colorization, so nothing pops. We talked about that all day today. But they are pretty green. That is what's there. They're fairly green trees. I guess I could tone them down a little bit, but this is the kind of hole. Like this is 179 par 3, so decently long, not 250 like on hole number 2.
Yeah.
But if you go forward, you'll notice your landing area on this hole for the golfers out there that love to play. If you just go forward, your landing area is the green. You catch nothing but the rough in the water. You're on the lake there on the reservoir the reservoir there. So I did sat shader as you can see. Tried to blend it all in. Um, Fun course. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. This is fun.
A lot of nature manufacturer background mountains. Though I did take imagery from the course, line it up to where the mountains are, and then put the mountains, try to line them up as close as I could. And then I'll be honest with you guys, stuff that's off the course, that's not on flyovers. I left the sat shader. I didn't color the whole
Yeah.
course because you don't see it unless you fly around.
Yep. Like I'm doing right now.
Yep. I took the grass out of the middle component. You don't see it in the flyovers, and it saved performance. So I killed the
Yeah.
grass in the middle of the course like that.
Yep. No, very nice. So if we switch gears back to here and we go to the must play pick of the week,
Oh yeah.
um, what you got, Mashie? What do you think? If you're gonna tell
I gotta
somebody
think
of all the courses this week, you're gonna tell, hey, which course should I play? What's it gonna be?
the fold. The fold is
I
my pick
agree.
for the week this
Yep.
week. Are we agreeing?
I think it's the first time we've actually agreed. Yep. I think the
Yeah,
fold.
well, we both picked TPC Shot Sale, but how do you not pick that, right?
Yeah.
The fold was just so good in the sim. It looked so good. It played good. It was a fun course. It made me feel like I was, me. I'm looking for
Immersive.
transport me to a course. Be
Yeah.
immersive. Yep,
Yeah. And I think you have a 4K system, right?
I do.
Yeah. And
I'm an idiot, and I just pulled the trigger on a screen upgrade, so I'm going 16 feet by 10 feet with the
ooh,
4K system. So I'm looking forward to this.
must have a monster room. Wow.
It's a good sized room. No
Nice.
room to sit behind and watch because the it's not as deep as I would like, but
Yeah.
wide is perfectly good.
Nice. That sounds fantastic. Yeah, I have to go with the fold as well. And just, I think with the fold though, I also saw how much um, detail over the past couple, because he was posting a lot of pictures in the Discord group about
Yep.
his bunkers, his grasses,
Yep.
and I think everyone was getting to the point like, dude, you need
Just
to
put the
put this,
course out.
just put the course out. You can always change it again later on. And I definitely do appreciate that because I think this is almost uh, instead of releasing it and trying to get it out too early that it was playable, he said, no, this is my baby. I want to make it
Yeah.
perfect. And
Yeah.
it shows. It sure
I'm
shows.
I'm excited. Listen, we reviewed a lot of great designers today. I think BluePotato has got so much
Yep.
potential. Some small things here and there. I think CE he's top tier. First course release,
Yeah.
top tier. I can't wait to see what he does next.
Both guys, I just can't wait to see what they're going to do with V4 tools, right?
Yeah,
Um,
agreed. Agreed.
yep.
I feel inadequate. I'm gonna stop building courses. These guys are coming in so good.
I'm just gonna make educational videos from here on out.
Just educational. I'm just gonna do review videos.
Or trees. Let's make people trees.
Great, awesome. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed this. I think Steve, we need to cue the coming to the end of the show music.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in all the way to the end, everybody, and we'll catch you up next week. All right.
Catch you next week. See everybody.
Bye bye.